So I thought this would be beneficial to share for people to hear, just like what my journey has been like, becoming a single mom, and also understanding like what life has been like and the adjustments I've had to make from being a performer, a professional performer, and going after my dreams and living in New York City to ending up in Texas and kind of taking all of the curveballs that have come my way and making the best of it, and how I don't know, survive the day to day to, I don't know, just like share my journey. And yeah, so come along if you want. And if you don't want, that's okay. You can just keep scrolling. Just got my hair done. It's kind of doing weird things today, so probably gonna need to wear a headband. Anyway, biggest controversial, I don't know if it's controversial. Biggest thing that comes to mind that I want to share is that's so frustrating to me is this like thought of how the moment that you find out you're gonna have kids, that your whole life goes out the window and you can no longer like have dreams and aspirations and things that you desire for yourself because you're having children. And there's like two sides to this, right? There's a side that, yes, every parent makes sacrifices for their children, and obviously they are like my number one priority, the love of my life. I would do anything for them. But I also get really hung up and frustrated when I hear about people as parents sacrificing so much and then holding it against their children, saying like, well, I sacrificed everything for you, and just not doing things for themselves anymore. I feel that it's really important that you are filling up your own cup and not just, not just doing things for other people all the time. And I think if you're somebody who's a people pleaser, that's also really hard too, because we just want to do things for everybody and we forget about ourselves. And I am still in that process of trying to figure out a balance of that and understanding like what's the best, course of action most days. But that was the biggest thing for me that was so frustrating, was when I found out I was pregnant with my first. So many people were like, oh, like, are you moving home? And at the time I was still in New York City. I had no plans of moving out of New York City. And if you don't know, I was in an abusive relationship. So there was a lot of isolation that occurred. That is why I ended up moving. Not once, but twice. So it is hard when I look back because, everything happens for a reason, but my life looked very different, and what goals I had set out for myself and what I've worked so hard for, to me at the time, felt like it was like thrown out the window. But it was really frustrating and really tough because there wasn't a lot of people that I could find that were in this industry that were parents. It took a lot of digging to find that community. But I was also like on the outskirts of that community, right? Like I wasn't on Broadway. I hadn't been on Broadway or a national tour. So I was like listening to their stories and all these things that were really inspiring, but also still feeling like I did not find my community. So all that to say, I struggled a lot with feeling like I had to find a new identity in myself and like figure out like who I was. Again, I was in an abusive relationship, so this was like extremely taken to like the 100th degree versus most mothers that experience postpartum and like what that experience is like. I had somebody else telling me that I needed to go find myself. and telling me that I was worthless and a terrible mother, and incompetent at my job. A lot of things, and I'm using choice words because of the other words would definitely be censored out on any of these apps. So all that to say, I really struggled. I felt like I had to try to find like a new Brooke and a new person. And I realized like I'm still myself. I just am a new version of myself, and that it was okay to like, you know, fall in love with new things and new passions, but also like still put myself first. It's taken me this long, and even then I still find myself putting things on the back burner because things happen in my life, and I'm trying really hard to not let these like things that I know are going to continue to happen and throw me a curveball, let that completely derail my life and like what I'm doing. But I'm trying really hard to put myself first, like whether it's just taking care of myself and like eating right and like eating enough every single day and like working out, because that's super important to me. But yet I've had a huge mental block there, to like going after dreams that I have and like going back to dance classes and putting myself out there. And a lot of people like have seen some of my posts earlier, I guess the last like maybe 6 months ish, of like the last 6 months of 2024. I started sharing more videos of like classes that I was taking and here in Dallas. And if you know me really well, I love Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. I've loved them since I was like in my hometown in Wisconsin watching DCC making the team. I own every single season, which is like kind of embarrassing to say, but it was something that I found so inspiring as somebody who wanted to perform and dance. And I also grew up being told a lot, like I started dance really late. I started taking formal classes when I was 15 and started doing choreography as the sole choreographer at 15 years old for shows. And I learned a lot in that experience, but I also like all of the no's and everybody like not believing in me made me push even harder. So, it's been a crazy journey. I think I'm just trying to figure out now that I feel like I can be honest on this platform, how I best want to share it, whether it's like YouTube podcast form or just on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. I don't really know. Maybe it'll infuse in all three. I've felt that my story could help a lot of people. The little that I've shared along the way that I've felt comfortable to share, it's really resonated with people. And it helps me feel like I have, I don't know, a community to speak with and share things with, and hope to inspire other people to really still dream big and go after the things that you desire, or that you've worked so hard for. If you know me, I still have big dreams for myself as a performer, and I don't know what that's going to look like because my life and my custody agreement and court and all this stuff changes on a regular basis for me. And I work full time right now, which I feel really fulfilled in at this moment, which is also like another roadblock as a performer, is like understanding it's okay to like love something else, like love doing a different job or like finding joy in other places that's not just performing. So I feel like I jumped all over the place, but I'm excited to share more here. Vote, podcast, like YouTube, and short form like clips, maybe on Instagram and TikTok. I don't really know, but if you want to join in on the fun in the community here that I'm trying to build, let me know. And excited to chat with more people and open up this conversation and just share more real and raw things on these apps versus feeling like you're always looking and being so inspired by people, but feeling like you're never going to get anywhere, or that you're never going to, make it, or that these people don't also struggle, because we all have our struggles. So all that to say, Thanks for listening, and I'll be on here soon.